Good morning, everyone, or good day, whatever time it happens to be for you. Today I want to work on these Dollar Tree arrows. I do have some of the small ones, but I wanted to take the longer ones and cut them down to make little houses. Um, Here I'm showing you one that I had already made there. It says, I put a Mod Podged a map, scrapbook paper of a map on it. It says, home is wherever I'm with you. And I absolutely love it. I made the word so big though, I didn't have room to put flowers on it or anything, but I do like to add flowers to these when I'm done. A little more decoration. So the first thing is remove the string, um, the twine, and then take your staples out. And be careful. Make sure your hand isn't on the side where the screwdriver's pointed, or you don't pull it back towards your body, especially where you're holding that. Um, these were real easy to take out. That wood is very soft, and it does leave indentations, so you have to use the other side. But here I'm taking one of the small arrows, the design that I had showed you previously, but I'm taking that one as a guide as to how big I want to cut these or how long I want them to be. Um, I think I'd already cut one down actually before I started the video just to see, how is this going to look. So I decided to use that one. I think it was a little bit shorter, and I decided to use that one as a guide to cut it down. Oops, sorry about the light. I can see the glare, and I feel like there's nothing I can do about it, so I'm playing around with the lights there. There we go. And then I realized that it wasn't my light at all, it was sunlight coming in through the window. So let me give you a big LOL. That's me. So anyway, this was actually probably 4 weeks ago. I had a medication mix-up that caused me to not come down here for 2 full weeks. But anyway, I went to my scroll saw and I cut these down into the smaller house size arrows. And today I just want to do one with Mod Podge. And Mod Podge really intimidated me for, well, forever. I never used it because I thought I was going to get blisters, and I thought things were just not going to turn out okay. So I decided one day, you know what? I have scrapbook paper that is just too cool to just be sitting here. So I was using a glue stick, and a glue stick just doesn't hold it down like the Mod Podge does. So I still had not really blisters. You just have gaps where you might skim by a spot that doesn't have the glue on it or whatever, and it just doesn't look the same. It just doesn't feel the same. It doesn't look the same. So I watched a video from the makers of Mod Podge and saw how the woman there had done this, and decided, you know what, I'm going to try it and see what happens. So I did, and my very first piece did have some blisters. Not many, just very, very few. So I did it again and came out blister free, and so far so good. So far so good. So here I am cutting out. I found that you know I found that the paper seems to get bigger when you go to Mod Podge it, and that's not a joke. It really does. So because you're going to spray it with water, so cut out your design, and then you're going to get your Mod Podge out. Make sure after you sand it that you really get that dust free. You don't want any dust on there. So turn your paper to the back side up, get your Mod Podge, whichever you want to use, the matte or the gloss, get your water, and the Mod Podge I found, I got mine from the Dollar Tree, but I found at Walmart has it for 2 or 3 cents cheaper, which is not a big deal. If you're at Walmart, pick it up. If you're at the Dollar Tree, pick it up. But anyways, you're going to take and you're going to put the Mod Podge onto the wood. Um, Wet brush doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all, actually. But I do dry mine out completely, and I'm showing you this is my all-time favorite brush, and it's been through heck and back, and you'll see here. Look at that ratty old thing. But it's my favorite. But anyway, so you're going to put the Mod Podge down onto the wood, and you want a good deal. You want it very, very wet. You don't want big globs. You want to level it out. And then before you put the paper on, you're going to squirt it with water. So that's why I said water's not going to hurt anything if your brush is wet. So you take your water and you squirt, and my squirter decides not to work. It's from the Dollar Tree also. LOL. I say LOL way too much because I do talk to text. But anyway, once you get the water on there, you can just use the same brush like I did and spread that water all around. Get your paper wet. And this is where your paper gets bigger. Or I don't know if it actually gets bigger here or if it gets bigger after it sits on there. But okay, make sure that you're exactly where you want. One side, it seems like I always get one side a little bit too far in so that you can actually see the wood. I didn't do that on this one. This one turned out really well, but the last like 4 before this, I got it just a little bit too close to the wood, and you can actually see on the other side. Now my scrapbook paper that I chose, and this here, I don't have what do you call it? Well, I suppose there's some special name for it, but one of those heavy rollers. I don't have one, so I just use an empty paint bottle to roll out the blisters, and it works. I mean, it cost me 50 cents, and I used up all the paint in it, and am using the bottle. And then you want to go ahead and brush your Mod Podge in over the top. I forgot what I was saying before, and that really upsets me because I don't want to have to redo this. But, shoot, I don't remember what I was saying. Oh, about being even. Just make sure you're completely where you want to be before you do anything. And now I'm making sure I don't have heavy brush strokes. So wipe off your excess. Okay, so here we have it all dry. Okay, so here we have it all dried. When I'm doing these, when I'm putting the Mod Podge on and putting the picture on, I always think it's going to have blisters. I always do. It looks like it's going to. The only thing I have here was a little notch in the wood, just a tiny little spot. Unless you're doing what I'm doing right now, you can't even see it. But this is what I turned out with. So I do have some overhang. So I'm going to sand that, but I'm going to do it off. I'm just going to sand this way with my, I believe it's 320, and I'm just going to sand this way off the end. I'm not going to do any of this. I'm going to go straight down with it and get that excess off, and I'm going to do it over my garbage can. That way my paper stays dry. I do have a Cricut printout that I did that just says love always, since this is like postcards or letters. My scrapbook paper is like handwritten letters. So I'm just going to put love always on it, and then I'm going to cut some pieces to put for the roof, some of this. So I will be back after I get everything ready to go. The best thing that I found to cut this stuff with is just scissors. My good old stainless steel. That's all they say. I have no idea. I have no idea where I bought them. I wish I would, because I go buy me another pair. They're so awesome. They work on fabric. They work on everything. Okay, so I went around and, oops, missed a spot, sanded the excess off of this little house I made out of an arrow. And now I'm going to measure to see how much, or how big, I should say, I want this to be. And I think I'm going to go thin with this one. You know, the other ones I did kind of thick. I think I'm just going to do a little thin strip on this. Leave it overhang quite a bit. It's quite a bit smaller than the other houses that I've done. Because I use the small fat arrows to do these. See, this one's an example of one that I've done. And this is, you know, the scrapbook paper of a map behind it. But this is an example of one that I've done with the metal roof, and this is the short fat arrows that you get from the Dollar Tree. So I think this turned out really cute. But I think I'm going to make the strip about half of that size, just to be different, I guess. And like I said, what was I saying? Go ahead and cut it here. Oh, Cricket, I'm going to put the saying that says love always on it from the Cricket. So I'm going to go about like this here. This is, can be dangerous. I mean, watch yourself. I would wear gloves if I had gloves that could actually let me manipulate the metal here, but I don't. I do, but I've created such a mess here. I'm bordering on hoarder here. Being a hoarder, I have too much stuff that I don't want to let go of for one reason or another. And yeah, this kind of straightens some of my crinkles, but we'll re-crinkle it when we go to, you know, put it back on, or put it on there, not back on, but put it on there. So I want to, you know, I want to be the same size here, so fit it the way that it goes. Let's see, I got a curl in it down here, because of the end kinks up a little bit, so I've given myself a rough draft of where I need to cut here. Try to stay as true as possible to the size. That already looks thicker, but okay, so just keep it going, I guess. Just like in life, just keep going. So I'm coming back from, I should say, a bout of paranoia caused by my medication. So, excuse me, with this paranoia, it was just a terrible trip. I was so anxious. I thought everything was out to kill me. Everything, and I don't mean people. I did have some qualms about coming down here in the dark, and that's what I do most of my work, was at night, or what my husband would call early morning. Yeah, I think that's going to be great with that. But I couldn't come down here. I was paranoid of my scissors. I'm going to accidentally leave the glue gun on forever. It really was a terrible, terrible trip. Now on this, I have some metal pieces sticking up. So when I glue this, I'm going to want to glue those to the inside if I can. You know, so that you don't touch it any more than you have to. Now my ends, I know this is really hard to see, but my end is pointed now. So I just take my scissors, I don't cut, I just bend it a little bit, bend it up. Try to do it without, you could use needle nose pliers or just regular pliers, I'm sure. But this is a pretty small piece, so okay, so this is thicker down here, so let me put it on this side so that the thicker piece is down here at the bottom. It looks crooked, doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be perfect, of course, but make sure, like for me, I want these both sides to be as similar as possible. So, I mean, I guess if you had to on these little tips that stick up, you could snip it off. But, you know, try curling it up. But, I want both sides to be as similar as possible. So, I want my ups and downsies there to go the same way on both sides. So now obviously on this, when you're doing it, you'll see, you know, it's the ups and the downs, so your super glue needs to go, you know, where all your downs are. Super glue is the only thing that I found that works for this. I think this super glue might be maybe a has-been. Oh no, the teeth. I don't know what I'm going to do when I don't have teeth anymore. Let's see, is it, yeah, it's still good, ready to go. Alright, so I'll put it here where I know it touched, put it here where I know it touched, and then down here. And then before I stick it, I like to put my lid on my super glue. Alright, so make sure you got it where you want it, and then just hold it for a minute. You know, where you know you put the glue, let it sit so it can get hard or dry up or whatever you want to call it. So we're not going to mess with the other one until this one is set. So I'll be back. Okay, it honestly didn't take that long to do. So let's see here. This end gets a little fatter here, so I want to put it down. You can trim this right here if you'd like. I'm not going to this time. I had done that before with my other ones, but I'm not going to do that this time. So I'm just going to take my glue here, get it up on top, and each downsy, whatever you want to call it. I know I'm a weirdo when it comes to saying things, but cap back on the glue, and then back on here. Yeah, I just say things. I don't. This piece right here. It doesn't take that long to dry. See, I'm going to have a point sticking up here that I could, you know, I'd be able to trim or whatever. Alright, so I just messed it up by doing that. It's probably still wet, but I did not take care of this tip right here. Let me just cut that off. It's causing me troubles. Alright, so back to the super glue, because I don't know if it dried up or what. I'm just going to go ahead and put it back on anyway. So I'm probably not doing it right because my fingers aren't stuck together. LOL. I've gotten into a bad habit of doing that when I'm talking now, saying LOL. Gosh darn it, quit touching it. So if you quit touching it, it might set up LOL. But I do talk to text on my phone, so I physically, verbally, I guess, say LOL all the time. Okay, so there it is, my weeding tool, and try to weed my letters here. I know a lot of people don't have Cricut. I swore I wasn't going to get one, but the opportunity arose through one of the stimulus packages. My husband said, get one. I told him, no, they're just way too expensive. And he said, you need one? Get one. And I said, of course I don't need one. He says, well, I know you want one. So when I got it, I was very intimidated by it. And it sat in the box for a while. I should have been more excited about it. It sat in the box for a little while. Then I finally got it hooked up. And still, I mean, I got on and I watched videos, and it still just sat there for way longer than it should have, for as bad as I really, really wanted one. I thought it was secretly wanted one, but it wasn't secret. My husband knew I wanted it. I must have been talking about it a lot. Okay, so the super glue has, set up, and I have this little tiny, I don't know if you can see it, this little tiny tip right here sticking out that just doesn't look right anyway, besides the fact that it's sharp. I'm just going to cut that off. Yes, the shards are going all over. I'm about to clean this table off, just take everything off of it, put a tablecloth down, and I shouldn't have. I should have just left it raw wood with cutting mats on it, but I wasn't thinking ahead to what am I going to do when I get all this dust and everything all over. So my table is quite dirty from sanding and painting and cutting wood, little wood pieces everywhere, little metal pieces everywhere. So it just needs to be stripped, which is going to be a huge job. Alright, I'm going to get my transfer tape and transfer onto this, and probably put some flowers or something on it. I'll be right back. So this one's too big, but I'm going to use it anyway. I watched a lot of videos for Cricut, and I'd played around with it just a little bit, and I was throwing my transfer tape away after one use. I did not know that you could reuse it. So I suggest, if you get a Cricut, watch videos. I posted one about how to use it, but I was totally confused when I got mine. There was a lot of things that you just don't know because you didn't, if you never had one, you just don't know. So anyway, I always try to start in the middle when I put my transfer tape down, and then and this, like I said, this is too big, so it's going to stick to my table too, but I'm just going to get through this real quick. But yeah, so don't throw your transfer tape away after one use. You can use it a few times. I mean, I've had things that I've transferred to that took off the paint, took off my paint, or not ruined the thing, but like this is, say I painted this and then I go to transfer, it takes some of that paint off with it, and you don't want to transfer that paint onto something else. So they'd be good to save for another, project that you painted the same way. So I know these little bitty arms and whatnot are what's going to stick in here, if it sticks at all. So make sure that you really, put some effort into each and every little spot here. But it's not a video on how to use the Cricut, but then do your back side too, which I didn't think was important when I first started, but it is, trust me. Yeah, I'm getting Mod Podge and stuff all over, but focus on your little letter arms. Let's see what we got here. We'll see what we got. I found, with these small, just word only things, you don't have a lot of trouble. So, okay, so I want to put flowers on this. I think I'll put them down at the bottom, like I did on that one that I showed you. So I'll just put the love always down here. I don't care much for the gap in between the words, but I didn't do that. That's just the font, I guess. But so you want to try to make it even. Of course, that should go without saying, I guess. I'm not, so you have to watch it this way, and you have to watch it this way. So I think my L was too close to the edge. So let me get this just a little. And I'm just eyeballing. There are times when I've measured. So before you stick it, make sure, before you, we call that burnish it. I guess this is a burnisher. I don't know. Yeah, make sure that you definitely have it exactly where you want it. Which I said I was going to put flowers at the bottom, but I think I'm just going to skip the flowers. Maybe put something up here. A bow. How about a bow? I found little burlap rolls at the Dollar Tree the other day that I haven't seen those for. Seriously, I haven't seen them for over a year. So I might use some of that. And of course, be careful. We don't want to ruin anything we've worked hard for. We've worked hard for this. So the Mod Podge. Anytime you Mod Podge, you're working hard for something. There goes my S. I didn't get it burnished good enough. And totally my fault. Totally my fault. And you pull it off at an angle, and it seems to be better that way. Okay. We survived it. Alright. That's not the piece of paper I had. This is the piece of paper I had. Okay, so this is good for more uses. And I will definitely use it again. I'll be right back. I decided to do some flowers, even though, I did cover the bottom. Sometimes I just do stuff without thinking. I think I can't be the only one, but my husband borrowed these, and I didn't bring them back down. I put them in my tool drawer upstairs, so of course I forgot to bring them down. But I got these from the Dollar Tree. Cute little flowers. I don't know what they are. So I took the the sticker off of it. There's a gnat in my face. Anyway, I want to make sure, the flowers are pointing upward. anyway. I'm just going to do this just cute little sprig of flowers. So I had plugged my heat gun in, and I'm going to take some twine and wrap it around here like I did with this. Wrap it around the base and then glue it to it. I didn't do a video when I did this, but this turned out really cute too. Grow where you are planted. I got this little fence piece from Family Dollar. And I went up there a week or so ago, took my granddaughter up to buy her a toy because she had been such a good girl and they didn't have any more. So see, here's a piece of rope I took off of one of the arrows, so I can just reuse this. I don't have to it's got staples in it, but I don't have to use a new piece of twine. I said rope, but it's twine. It's really thick, so it's kind of, I'm going to use the glue here in a minute, but we just kind of wrap it around to see what it's going to look like, or if I should use the thinner stuff. Of course it's not going to stay well without the glue. So like I said, the important thing is to make sure that your flowers are up. You know, I want to say obviously, but if you're not thinking about it, you're not thinking about it. At least that's my so I think that'll look fine. I am gonna use the thinner one just for manageability here. But I have all kinds of pieces of twine. I never throw anything away. It's always gonna be, I'm gonna be able to use it for something else. I'm gonna be able to use it for something else. So I do have a hoarding tendency. If you've seen my upstairs, you'd be like, you know what, you need to get rid of some stuff because it's bad up there. And the worst part of hoarding is that it's impossible to clean around that stuff. So I don't have big piles of hoard. I have a tote here and a tote there and a shoebox here and a shoebox there. You know, with crafting supplies or knickknacks I bought to put out but never did. So I need to, and I'm going to work on that today and the rest of the week to clear those things out. And I have to say, if I don't need it, I need to get rid of it. You know, I need to say that to myself here. My gun is about warm. I should have probably stopped the video, but I did not do that. Blabbering on. So let's see what we got here. No glue. And we have hot glue. Alright. Okay, so what I want to do is take a little piece, make sure my flowers are looking up. Take a little piece here of twine and just start it. Start to wrap in. I'm just going to put the one little piece on and hold it. The glue's not really that hot because it's not burning the crap out of my finger. I just stuck it right in the glue. But it should be tacky enough to hold that twine. So go ahead and give it a wrap. And then some more glue. And wrap away. Just wrap away. So I give you a picture. My house is a mess. It is. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a great housekeeper. My you know, my granddaughter was here for 8 days while I was having that adverse reaction to that medication. So it was really a hard time for me. I didn't know what was wrong. That's the biggest part, is that I just didn't know what was going on. I just knew that I didn't feel good, and I kept it from her, but I didn't know that it wasn't her causing the anxiety. But I was trapped in the house, with a 4-year-old for 8 or 7 straight days. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. My husband went to work in the mornings, and me and Kennedy were here. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this twine, give it enough to wrap to the back side so you can't see where I put it. So, and just a little spot. I think I got it. Nope, that's right. But anyway, I didn't know what was going on. I was freaking out. Couldn't sleep. Telling my husband, "You're gonna have to miss work. I can't do this. I can't do this." And of course, that didn't go over real well. He don't miss work. He never misses work. He's definitely a very good provider. There we go. Alright, yeah. But I just didn't feel good. I couldn't sit for more than a minute. I couldn't just stand up for more than a minute. I was just in dire straits. And fortunately, I had made a doctor's appointment, virtual. Now this, I don't know if I want to wrap a piece in the middle, or I'm just going to go ahead and glue this down. Once it's there, it's there. They'll make sure that's what you want. There's no going back. So, but anyway, I didn't know what was wrong with me. I didn't know why I was feeling that way. What was going on. All I knew was I had anxiety, and the whole world was wrong at that moment. This little flower's giving me a hard time here. Doesn't want to stay pointing up. See what I'm talking about? He wants to be a little turd. Alright, so anyway, I didn't know what was going on. It's just, pure anxiety and not being able to sleep, knowing I had to deal with a toddler, pretty much non-stop. And she's when I say inquisitive little girl, she's very, very smart, but you get smart by doing, and she did. She is just one that you just really, you just can't leave alone for very long. I should have Mod Podged over that now that I'm thinking about it. Let me go ahead and put my my hanger on the back. So I'm just going to take a piece of twine and make a loop. That's it. So it can be hung up. Yeah, I like that. That's perfect. Nothing fancy. Get that up there. Put it on there. And anyway, so I did not let my granddaughter out of my sight for those days, and that's how you keep a good girl good. She will get into stuff. She's not abnormal. She's absolutely 100% a normal little 4-year-old girl. And Grandma's house is not 100% child-proof. So Grandma child-proofed a room, other than the kitchen, of course. And my living room became our play area, nap area. You know, we watched TV, we crafted, we interacted in there, and it was really hard to stay in that room for 8 days. So I ended up, you know, from Saturday, we picked her up. It was a Saturday until the next Saturday that we dropped her. We met her other grandmother, and she took her home. This is still a little, I'm going to put a little bit more glue down here. Hold these loose ends down. But it was, I had, so Monday through Friday, of just her and I during the days while my husband was at work. And we were stuck in a little, 14 by 16 living room. Alright, so what do you think? I think it looks really cute. Of course, the love always goes with the postcard theme, like you would sign your postcard. So I thought it was, you know, a good idea. So let me know what you think in the comments. This is what I ended up with. One of the long Dollar Tree arrows that I cut down. Thank you for watching. Please consider hitting the subscribe button. I know I'm not going to make it. YouTube says I have to have 1,000 subscribers in a year, and I'm just not going to make it. But if you would, you know, maybe share, like and share my video. But thank you so much for watching.